station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Sun.
This afternoon at Tropicana Field, the Rays will conclude their 7-game homestand as they square off against the Oakland A's. Rays and the A's dividing yesterday's doubleheader, so the Rays are up 2-1 in what will be a 4-game series. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson to 8 Stats. Great to have you aboard. Well, a long day of baseball yesterday. 7 hours and 2 minutes to be exact as these teams battled to a doubleheader split. Big day for Evan Longoria, 5 of 9 and a big home run.
Listen, Evan Longoria, his previous 5 games, he was in a 3-for-20 slide. Well, he broke out of that in a big way yesterday. Game 1, he was 3 for 5. This was the first of 2 doubles. He would score a couple of runs, and then this was the big hit right here. Hendricks, after a double by Borges, another game-winning hit there by Evan Longoria. The Rays would walk off winners. A big start for Evan. And then after an RBI single in the first inning, Sean Manaea here to lead off the top of the 6th. He would bring the Rays closer there with that solo shot. That was his 250th on the season. And the big thing that stood out about Evan's day yesterday, and what we always talk about with Evan, strike zone discipline. When he stays at swinging at pitches in the strike zone, he's going to put up days like that a lot.
First pitch just moments away on a kids' Sunday here at Tropicana Field. Always a lot of fun, including Demo Day. The Rays and the Oakland A's will go at it on another Kids Sunday. That means it's a Demo Sunday. And with that in mind, Orestes Destrada standing by with Malik Smith.
Talk a little bit about bunting to get the runner over a sacrifice bunt. What are your keys?
To start, sacrifice bunting, you want to get up on the plate and get up in the box so you have more fair territory to work with. And then it depends on whether there's a guy on first or if there's a guy on second. So if there's a guy on first, I'm most likely going to try to bunt it over here to the first base area. If there's a guy on second, I'll try to bunt it down third base line just to cause the third baseman to come in, make it easy for that guy to slip into third base. So when you get up in the box, my main things is you're not trying to be perfect. You just want to get it out here in this general area just so that you can cause people to crash down on the ball and allow the runner to advance to the next base. Set your angle early, get down. I'll always tell you to get down. If you start low, you know that any ball beneath you is a ball, and it's easier to bunt balls that are up closer to your eyes. So if you start low, if it's down, it's a ball. If it's up, it's probably a good pitch to bunt. I'll give you a quick example. That's if a runner's at first. If we got a runner at second, we go down the third base line. And that's how it's done.
Well, there you go. Another kids demo on a kids fun day at Tropicana Field. First pitch just minutes away. Chris Archer will head to the mound for the Rays this afternoon, wrapping up the series against Oakland. And wrapping up the homestand, Archer in search of his 5th win of the year. And we'll take a look at the lineup he will face, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Jacob Bruckman will be the leadoff man up in the top of the order. In left field, Chad Pinder at short. Jed Lowry, the second baseman, hits third. The DH is Chris Davis. Yonder Alonso hits 5th, plays first. Ryan Healy at third will hit sixth. Stephen Vogt will do the catching. Matt Joyce in right field bats eighth, and Rajai Davis in center field hitting ninth.
Well, Chris Archer making his 14th start of the season already. Record even up 4-4, ERA 3.65, 86 and a third innings. And how about the strikeouts? 106 in those 86 and a third.
Rays start the day a game over 500. They're 33 and 32, running fourth in the East. First pitch of this game is a strike call. Four of 11 for Bregman to break into the big leagues in this series. One ball, one strike. Bregman has made quick progress. He was hitting ninth on Friday, and here Sunday afternoon he's leading off. Two balls and a strike. Pinder next. Foul the other way, and it's a 2-2 count.
Chris Archer just one career start against the Oakland A's, and that was back actually in May of 2015. He picked up a win in that start, 5 1/3, 1 earned run, so not a lot of history between these two teams, or excuse me, between Archer and this team. A's and Rays tend to play each other every season, so that wouldn't be accurate.
Swing and a miss. It's never stopped us before. First strikeout, Bregman down on strikes.
Well, of course it's going to be that slider, and this is a pitch that you're going to see early and often here today. Righties and lefties. Chris Archer does not discriminate when he tries to put guys away with the slider. Right-handed, left-handed, he's good either way.
Chad Pinder. But outside there with a fastball. Nothing. Archer's last outing came against the White Sox. He dropped that game 4-2. One, the fastball by Pinder.
Yeah, up and in close to him. Those are the toughest to get to, because to get the barrel to that baseball, you've really got to pull the hands through and be very, very quick. Not easy to do when a guy's mid upper 90s at times.
Foul back. Evens the count at 2-2. Archer's last outing a bit frustrating for him. He gave up what turned out to be a home run to Sanchez to start the game on that ball that was hit to center that, with all the English on it, took a big curve away from Kiermaier and eventually was ruled a home run. Full count here on Pinder. Here's a look at that play to start Archer's last outing.
He kind of slices that ball, and Kevin Kiermaier loses sight of it, and that's just a fly ball to center field. Didn't touch a thing, wasn't even high enough to touch anything, and he was awarded a home run, and he couldn't believe it. And actually they would go to review and it would stand, which was, we couldn't believe it.
Pinder lifts it into right, and Souza Jr.'s there for that one.
Let's take a quick look at the Rays defense and see how it's going to line up here. Brought to you by Golden Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right we have Rasmus, and then Malik Smith and Steven Souza Jr. Across the infield third to first, Longoria, Beckham, Robertson, and Morrison. Derek Norris will be behind the plate.
The other thing that was troublesome for Archer and a bit frustrating is that the Rays came back to tie that game at the bottom of the first, and it was tied until the 7th when Avisaíl Garcia Opened the inning with a home run to make it 2-1, and then at the end of 7 he was out of that game. The Rays eventually lost it 4-2, so he gave up 2 runs on 5 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 11 in 7 innings, and came away with his 4th loss. A strike to count on Jed Lowry. One ball, 1 strike. Lowry at .295 on the year. Could not catch up there, 1-2.
No, and both fastballs, Jed Lowry was just a little bit tardy on, and that'll be interesting to see, Dwayne, during the course of this ball game, especially against Archer when you've got a flamethrower out there, just how quicker the bat's going to be. You know, you could talk about yesterday being a long day, no question about it, but really at the end of the day, you're talking about the potential for 4 games being played at about a 45, 46-hour span. That's an awful lot of baseball. That's a 4-game series in less than 2 days.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ball. You had a late Friday night, a quick turnaround, a long Saturday, a quick turnaround. You know, so you go from 7 o'clock Friday night, you figure this game normally, well, ends at 5. That's 46 hours in 4 games. How quick will the bats be? What are the instincts and reactions going to be like?
He did not. 2-2. That's a great point. You know, we talked about yesterday the shortest doubleheader on record being just a little over 2 hours, but doubleheaders were so common that they would be back-to-back doubleheaders. Ernie Banks played in a bunch of those, and doing the same thing. You're playing 4 games within 48 hours. Well, that's basically what the Rays and the A's have done. Spread over 3 days, but when you break it down in hours, it's the same thing as playing back-to-back doubleheaders.
And this, I shouldn't even say this generation, but these guys aren't used to that.
Yeah.
You know, where that used to be the norm, your body's going to react to it because that's what you do. This is a little bit extraordinary, and so it'll just be interesting to see how crisp the play is this afternoon.
2-2, high fly ball into right field. Souza Jr. is going to go to the track, to the wall, and makes the catch. Little leap there at the end for Souza Jr. as he approached the right field wall. It's 3 up and 3 down. Canton Field for this afternoon's wrap-up game of the homestand. Let's take a look at the Rays starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Malik Smith will lead it off in center, followed by the DH Corey Dickerson and Evan Longoria. Logan Morrison at first base, followed by Steven Souza Jr. in right and Colby Rasmussen left. Tim Beckham, Derek Norris, and Daniel Robertson rounds out the lineup.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Oakland Athletics, right-hander Jesse Hahn making his 10th start of the season. The record just 2-4, but you can see the ERA an impressive 3.40.
First pitch is a strike call to Malik Smith. Shooting .324. Trying to catch up to that one up. Fastball 0-2.
Jesse Hahn has a little hitch in his delivery and some short arm action, so that 94 has the tendency to be able to jump on you. Almost kind of slings it up there. You know, watch his arm when it comes out of the glove and the way that it, you know, it doesn't take a normal, you know, arm plane, you know, swing. Kind of comes out straight back, and then here he comes.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
So what you're getting a look at the plate. Tries to hide that ball as best he can. Keep the arm behind his body.
It's up the left side, down the line with some slice to it, and out of play. Malik Smith with that low wall down there, you're never quite sure if you can keep it fair, and he's shown a little pop. He can bodies at a home run. Got a low wall and hit that one a long way, but sliced it out of play.
Yeah, that's the right there's the proof. I mean, he's not, I don't know, left center. That may be a bit much, but down the left field line, absolutely. And we saw him here, well, just the other night, going out into right center with ease.
Now a full count. Corey Dickerson is on deck. And there's a walk to start this one. So right away the Rays have base stealing speed aboard.
Let's take a quick look at Oakland's defense, brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, we have Jacob Brugman, Rajai Davis, and Matt Joyce. Across the infield, third to first, Ryan Healy, Chad Pinder, Jed Lowry, and yonder Alonso with Stephen Vogt behind the plate. Well, you're right about that, Dwayne. You think about Malik Smith again working a long at bat, taking some close pitches, earning his way on base, and now he becomes an even bigger distraction. Gets big leads and forces the pitcher to have to deal with it.
Move over there. Smith, who is 7 of 7 in the running department. Dickerson in prior matchups with Hahn, 3 of 7 with a home run. It's upstairs.
Well, and did you see what he did right there? You know, he already, Jesse Hahn, thinking about Malik Smith. He rushed that delivery, and that ball stayed arm side up and away, and that's all because he tried to get things going too quick, understanding who's over at first base, and that's how he can affect the game, affect the pitcher, affect the defense.
Put away again, 2-0, and I that's a great point. You know, you talk about trying to put a lineup together. You go, well, just get a bunch of big guys and hit home runs, but a couple guys like Malik Smith on the bases can be enough of a distraction to an opposing pitcher to help the rest of the hitters in the lineup.
Yeah, to let the other big guys hit maybe a few more home runs.
Yeah. And it's a 3-0 count.
What have we said over and over and over again? You come out of the bullpen to start a game against the Rays and you're not sharp, you put yourself in harm's way. And already a leadoff walk, and in dividing your mind between trying to keep him tight and make quality pitches to Corey Dickerson, you've missed the strike zone 3 times in the same general area. Now you're 3-0 to him.
And that's a strike call. The upper reaches of the zone there, 3-1.
And this works against you, and this works against how Oakland has pitched Corey Dickerson. They've gotten ahead of him and then really expanded the zone. Haven't really given him any strikes, and he's still been swinging. Well, when you go 3-0, 3-1, Corey Dickerson forces you out over the plate, and that's where he can hurt you.
There goes the runner, and the pitch is way high. So a walk to Smith, and now a walk to Dickerson, and the Rays put the first 2 men aboard. And it brings up Evan Longoria. Well, Evan coming off a good doubleheader yesterday, including connecting for the home run in the 6th inning of the nightcap. Home run number 250 for Evans' career. Our Toyota inside look. Their current clubs and active. Evan 250 now.
Well, he had a great day yesterday. It had been a rough week coming in, but even the beginning, the first at bat of game 1, a strikeout, and then after that really owned it.
Ground ball out at second. Pinder's throw to first in time for the double play. So Hahn hits the 4-6-3 double play. Lowry, Pinder to Alonso.
Yeah, frustrating. Evan Longoria frustrated, of course. And you work those walks to get yourself into situation, but that's one thing that Jesse Hahn can do. That's his eighth induced ground ball double play. He does that have the ability with a little bit of sinking action on that fastball to get some balls on the ground, and they take advantage of one there.
Yeah, he's about 50% in the ground ball rate.
Oh, they're declaring. Jesse Hahn had to declare. Wind up or stretch.
There you go.
Remember Matt Andriese got burned on that.
They certainly do.
Which was a month into the season and the first that we had ever heard of it.
So Smith at third for Morrison. The breaking ball is high. 1 ball, no strikes.
And this is why Jesse Hahn had to declare, because see, out of the windup, he has a similar setup to a pitcher that's out of the stretch, you know, angled. And so that's why you end up having to declare. If they're close, you got to let them know. A guy that's a little more traditional and is squared up to home plate out of the windup, and then of course out of the stretcher to the side, they don't have to because it's pretty apparent. But a little angled like that, you see how he's almost, it's close to out of the stretch. That's why.
It's fouled back, and it's 2-1. And that came about in large part due to the approach that David Price took. A couple other pitchers like that, and Matt Andriese in his own way like that. Hahn. 3-1. And Steven Souza Jr. on deck. Now 3-2.
Oh, a good change up there. Looked like Logan Morrison wanted to pull the trigger, but just right here, everything not quite where he wanted, so he holds up. It is a strike, but he was expecting the hard stuff.
Three-2. Breaking ball foul the other way.
You're going to see an awful lot of that. Jesse Hahn likes that curveball.
Yeah, and I was going to say what he's done here in this first inning is tell you that you can expect about anything at any count.
That makes it, you know, you look at his ERA, the record notwithstanding, the 3.40, it tells you he's got an idea out there this deep in, and he will give you different pitches and different counts.
And a swing and a miss. Fastball against Logan Morrison. So the Rays leave a man at third, no score. inning. MLB.com at bat, your #1 mobile app for live Rays baseball. Stay connected with the fully customizable experience. Get Rays home screen icons and app features, as well as live game video highlights, StatCast, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Chris Davis, the DH, leading off the second against Chris Archer. A high foul ball up the right side. Davis, big home run year last year, 17 home runs so far this year for Oakland. He had 42 home runs and drove in 102 runs a year ago. 0-2 after the fastball up. This has the makings of a pretty good pitching matchup here with Chris Archer and what we've seen of Jesse Hahn. Hahn walked a couple men, but he's got a nice arm.
He really does, and not only that, but just that sequence to Logan Morrison. You know, he fell behind him, run around third base. Logan Morrison, you know, a run producer, 3-1 count. He throws a 3-1 changeup, get to 3-2, backdoor curveball fouled off, and then is able to power 95 right by him. That shows you a little bit of his pitching acumen.
Lifted to the right side. Morrison goes after it. The ball's headed for the seats, however. A 1-2 count. Well, the Rays getting back over 500. With 2 games up after the win in the first game of the doubleheader yesterday, and then dropped the second game. So they're 33-32 right now. Oakland in at 27-35. Foul back. I mean, you could play this game all day, but you know, you look at different divisions, and the Rays from the very beginning have been in the tough American League East and remain in what year in and year out is a very tough division. Right now, if you put them in the National League Central with that record, they'd be a game out of first. There's a strike call. Davis caught looking. Second strikeout for Archer.
Oh, another slider, and this one just locks up Davis. We've seen the Rays consistently challenging him down and away, or at least attempting to. That's where you feel like the biggest hole is in Davis's swing, and Archer's able to put a very hard slider right in that spot.
Here's the first baseman yonder, Alonso. He takes a strike. He's had a good series. A good doubleheader. 3 for 5 in the first game. 4 for 5 in the second game. His average up to 314. One ball, one strike.
What was his average when this series started? It was below 300. He was not a 300 hitter when this thing started.
No, he came in. Well, he came in hitting 295 and then was 0 for 3, so dropped his average down to 289.
In this series, he was at 1.289. Okay, well then you got to try to find a way to get him out, because it doesn't sound like they've done much of that since then to get it up to 314.
Oh, here's the series.
There you
Big
go.
part of that, the doubleheader. And overall, his power numbers way up this year. And that's the one thing throughout his career that people had looked for, like to get a little more power out of first base. Well, he's done that. 16 home runs.
Well, he's a powerfully built guy who's still able to maintain that eye, you know, to be able to keep a high average, a good on-base percentage, and hit the ball out of the ballpark. You see the swing right there.
Right there.
That's all you need to know, or all you need to see to understand he's got power.
Well, look at that now. His slugging percentage among first basemen in the American League tops.
And then both of these, power and the ability to get on base.
He had hit 12 home runs over the last 2 seasons. And has 16 already. This pitch thrown into the dirt for ball 4. So a 1-out walk.
Third baseman, number 25, Ryan Healy.
And here's a young hitter. Ryan Healy connecting last night. Healy now with 14 home runs.
Another powerful guy. Be careful with pitches obviously out over the plate, pitches that are close to him. If you're going to come in, you had better get it on the black or further in than that. And they better be up at his hands.
Well, last year, his first year up, he had 13 home runs. So he's topped that with 14 this year so far. And look at that, 5 of those in the last 8 games.
Yeah, that is scorching. 13 runs driven in, 4 doubles on top of that.
Into center field, Smith closing, can't get there in time. A little trouble corralling it, now drops it. Alonso goes to third, ball loose on the throw back in as Healy winds up at second. That's going to be a base hit for Healy, and when Smith had some issues out there corralling it, it'll be an error charge to the Rays center fielder.
You know what, Dwayne, and I think if he comes up to with that right there, initially, I think that Yonder Alonso stays at second base. He didn't go to third until the ball popped in the air, and then at that point, Healy didn't head until right at that moment. So I think if that ball goes into the glove cleanly, you're talking about first and second. Both of these guys end up moving up, and that's unfortunate.
So on a walk and a single and the error, Oakland with the first scoring opportunity for them here. It comes early. Stephen Vogt is the hitter, and the pitch is down. First error on Smith, 44th error of the year charged to the Rays this year. The Tapper foul, 1-1. Vogt 4 home runs this year, coming into this game hitting .218. And he strokes it into center field for a base hit. Alonso scores. Here comes Healy in to score. A base hit and 2 runs batted in for Stephen Vogt. And Oakland breaks out in front.
Now fastball down middle, and Stephen Vogt eyes down the barrel of that bat, able to reach out and line that right back up the middle, hit it hard. And this is the one area where you miss the arm of Kevin Kiermaier, because teams are going to challenge Malik Smith's arm out in center field. He's going to be a guy that's going to be able to track balls down, cover a lot of ground, but he will get challenged when it comes to throws.
That's a big hit for Vogt. He had gone 4 for 41 in 19 career games here at Tropicana Field. That average under 100. And he strokes that fastball right back into center to pick up a couple runs batted in. Here's Matt Joyce, and he sends Rasmus back to the track in left, who makes the catch. Turning around Vogt, he'll head back to first. So Rasmus stayed with it as Joyce hit the ball a long way to the opposite field. Catch made on the track.
Some solid contact being made here by Oakland in the second inning. This ball roped the other way. Rasmus does a nice job of eyes on the prize. Tough building to ever lose sight of the baseball. Nicely tracked and caught by Colby.
2 outs. Voted first, Rajai Davis. Pitch is down. Couple of home runs for Davis. 12 runs batted in. Strike 1-1. His bat started to show some life in a 4-for-5 performance Wednesday against Toronto, in which he scored 4 runs and 2 doubles and a triple in that game as well. Foul ball runs the count to 1-2. One-out walk started this. Healy followed to the base hit, an error allowing the runners to move to second and third. Stephen Vogt single to center, giving Oakland the early lead. Davis hitting with 2 outs and a count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's the top of the order. Jacob Brugman on deck. Fly ball toward the right field line. Souza Jr. into foul territory. Makes the catch on the run right in front of the bullpen mound. 2-0 Oakland.
And this is the big story. After a Starlin Castro 2-run single, Gary Sanchez in the first inning of Kevin Gausman, and the Yankees all over the Orioles again early. Quick turnaround after last night's game, and they're right back at it.
Yeah, early and often. After a 16-3 win over the Orioles, they go right back to work today. New York up by 3 games on Boston, 5.5 on the Orioles, and 6 in front of the Rays. Toronto starting today 7.5 back. Steven Souza Jr. to begin the bottom of the second. And he takes a fastball for a strike. The Rays are facing Jesse Hahn, who was originally drafted back in 2010 by the Rays. Upstairs, he had Tommy John surgery, and it took him a couple of years to recover, and then eventually in 2014 traded to the Padres Alex Torres went over there in that deal. That was the Logan Forsythe, Matt Andrees trade. 1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. And Souza Jr. is out on strikes. Second strikeout for Hahn.
Well, this on the slider. This one stays up a little bit, and he's able to keep it away from Souza Jr. And that swing just a little bit underneath it. So far we've seen out of Jesse Hahn a pretty good fastball in the 92 to 95 range. Slow curveball, mid to upper 70s. We saw the slider there in the mid 80s. And he also has a changeup that sits in the mid 80s. 4 different pitches and that ability to use them in all different counts.
Rasmus takes a strike. It was kind of interesting. He was dealt to Oakland for Derek Norris, and then has had a couple stints on the disabled list. And he came back. He had a little forearm issue that cost him some time. Came back healthy, felt great, and found that for a period last year he was giving up more home runs than he'd given up. And eventually they figured, and Hahn did, that he was much stronger than he'd ever been, and because he can sink the ball as well.
Yep.
And in his terms, he said he was just throwing through the sink, and he had to back off a little bit to get that back. And what we've seen now is a variety of pitches here where if he commands all those pitches, he's going to be tough to hit.
Yeah, especially when he learns how to use them, how to really incorporate them, you know, into his sequences.
Rasmus lines it into right, reaching up. Joyce makes the catch.
You know, because that's what we've seen, Dwayne. When you go back early, you know, the first pitch to Malik Smith, you know, 92 miles an hour, and it had really good darting sink on it.
Yep.
But then yet you think back the strikeout to Morrison, that was 95 firm, didn't have the sink, but that was by design. So you've got 2 different fastballs to work with. You got the true 4-seam, 2-seam fastball where you can get a little bit of movement, you can get the ground ball when you need it, and you can also try to overpower guys with velocity, let alone the secondary pitches that you can go to.
Tim Beckham pitches outside.
And I think that when Jesse goes into the Hall of Fame, he'll probably go in as an Oakland A. I'm tapping the brakes here.
Yeah, well, he's only 27. And the shot into left field off Beckham's bat. That's going to be off the wall. And it's going to be a long single. Rugman played the carom, and Beckham comes into the game hitting .278. Lined one right off the left field wall.
And there's a slider. This one kind of hangs. Lucky. Very fortunate that Beckham didn't get that ball out of the yard here. That's a hanging slider. He roped that thing so hard, though. Look how quickly it gets to the wall. And then well played. Hard off the wall. And there's Brugman to turn and get it in rapidly. That's a big play because with 2 outs, you'd love to see Beckham in scoring position.
So here's Norris. 2 guys facing each other who were traded for each other. 1 ball, no strikes.
These are the matchups that determine how I view trades.
That's it.
Comes right down to the head-to-head, Dwayne.
Yeah, there you go. Somebody gets a crown or a belt afterwards. There's a strike.
Some GM becomes a genius after this, and the other guy,
not so much.
Not so much.
So a lot riding on this matchup right here.
I'll give him the game.
good take right there by the Rays catcher. Takes the count to 2-1. Brewers trying to extend the inning. Daniel Robertson is on deck. Bottom of the second. This one lifted toward left center field with some hang time, and Brugman makes the catch to retire the side. On to the third. It's 2-0 Oakland.
Back on Fox Sports Sun. Today's Kids Sunday. Every day is Kids Sunday, but today is extra special because it's the Play Ball initiative of Kids Sunday all across Major League Baseball. And here at the Trop, the Tampa RBI Little League is joining us today as guests of the Trop. 15,000 caps and jerseys have been donated by the Rays, Majestic, and Suncoast Credit Union to Little Leagues and softball leagues around the Tampa Bay area. A terrific initiative all across Major League Baseball, guys. And if you want to nominate your favorite Little League group, go to raysbaseball.com/playbaseball, and you could get to the game just like these guys can. Say, go Rays!
Go Rays! Yeah!
Well, a great program to help promote this game and develop it among the young athletes, and that's it's been around for a while and gaining a lot of momentum. We go to the third. Jacob Brugman takes the first pitch for a strike. Brugman struck out swinging his first time. Archer had a bit of an extended inning in the second, 23 pitches. Upstairs, 2-1. Archer this year, on average, has been right around 16 pitches per inning.
You know, the gold standard, we talk about it a lot, is 15. But when you have a guy like Chris Archer who runs up the strikeout numbers that he does, you can't really hold him to 15. So when you see a guy that has you know, the 106 strikeouts and 86 plus innings coming in that Archer does, 16 is pretty good. Actually, really good.
Now the count's full. 3-2 here to Brugman. Like last time out, he pitched 7 innings with 11 strikeouts. What really helped, 0 walks.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Do not hurt yourself and waste.
He's given up a walk here in this game, and that's already hurt him. He walked Alonso, and he came around to score. There's the strikeout breakout over the last 7 starts.
Here we go. 5 of the 7 in double digits.
And A cut and a miss on a 3-2 slider, and that was something to behold.
Watch where the pitch ends up. It's the slider. The swing starts. The pitch ends up almost behind Brugman. That shows you how much late action is on that pitch and how it's so hard, with 2 strikes especially, to hold up off of. That's why when we talk about these opposing offenses coming in, you know that they want to attack Archer early, because when you get to 2 strikes, lights out.
Chad Pender. That's a strike. Archer with 3 strikeouts. He twice has struck out Brugman. Pender hit a fly ball to right his first time. Contact foul, and the count is 0-2.
Little contact on Corey Blazer, and he was none too appreciative.
He's thinking, it's not easy being me.
Oh, that was, again, that Zaza Pachulia region.
Upstairs. One ball, 2 strikes. Right back into the screen. Holds the count at 1-2. Strike 3 call. He got him looking on a fastball. 97. The gun registers that one.
He
out number 4.
You know, he throws the slider with such frequency with 2 strikes that's what guys have a tendency to look for, because he'll throw it, you know, sometimes near 70% of the time with 2 strikes. So you get ready to protect against that, and then all of a sudden here comes the zippy fastball, and you take the walk back to the dugout.
Jed Lowry. Still trying to catch up.
You know, he challenged Lowry the first couple of pitches in the last at bat with the heater, and he ends up flying out deep to right field. That was on the slider, though. Fastball he has yet to be able to time.
Well, here we go.
And that's not a good sign either. Having trouble, you know, timing up the fastball, and the slider's disappearing on me. Uh-oh.
0-2 the count. Up with the fastball there, and it's 1-2.
Well, now you can come back with that slider down and in. You feel comfortable with that pitch. You can also double up on that fastball up in the zone. But the one thing you've done is you've changed his eye level and opened up the door. You're going to go up again. There you go.
And he got him. Strikes him out on the fastball. Archer strikes out the side. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. 2-0 Oakland. Thanks, Geico. Great moment on this day back in 2002. Jared Sandberg becoming the first Ray and 39th major leaguer to hit 2 homers in an inning, hitting 2 out in the 5th of the Rays' 11-2 win over the Dodgers here at Tropicana Field. Jared Sandberg, now the AAA manager for the Rays, managing the Durham Bulls. Daniel Robertson takes the first pitch here in the bottom of the 3rd. Fastball missing, 1 ball, no strikes. Catches the corner. It's 1-1. Again on the corner to take the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Robertson not altogether happy with that call. Chopper by the mound. Hahn got a piece of the glove on it, and Lowry makes the pickup.
Nice job. A little change of direction by Lowry. Some of those balls deflecting can lead to infield hits, but this ball off the glove from Lowry, and then watch how off the glove of Hahn. Watch how Lowry then gets his glove out. He's going to get a weird hop. So get the glove out there and really try to scoop it on as short a hop as you can. He's going to get one of those in-between hops, so you try to reach out as far as you can to mitigate that. I love watching these infielders.
There's a little looper that's going to elude Pender and drop into left in front of Brugman. And Malik Smith is on base again.
He's starting this game out, Dwayne, like he did the other night. Take the walk in your first at bat, slap a ball into left field. Next time you come up,
so Smith picks up the base hit, a 1-out single. Corey Dickerson steps in. Dickerson walked in the first, moved to first, and Smith is back in.
Last time that he was over there, Jesse Hahn trying to make sure he keeps him at first base and make quality pitches to Corey Dickerson, was not able to do so and would walk him.
Pitch away.
Still has yet to be able to get a pitch on the plate to Corey Dickerson. Not that you always have to, because Corey likes to swing the bat, but got a guy over there at first base to worry about it. And you wonder if this is the AB where Malik Smith finally goes.
Hahn thinking the same thing.
Yeah. And that was an awkward re-entry right there by Malik Smith back into first base. Perfect on the season.
On base for the 2nd time in this game. And it's now 1-1. Jesse Hahn, 6'4" right-hander. Played at Virginia Tech. He's out of Connecticut. And he's ahead of Dickerson. 1-2. Some action on that fastball.
He yanked it. You know, he didn't want it in that location. You know, it's down and into a left-handed hitter. A lot of times you want to stay away from that area. And he yanked that pitch across the plate. Did have some life to it and got Corey to swing at it. You can see where that location was.
Corey fouls this one away. Rays had a couple base runners in the first inning. Hahn threw a double play ball after walking Smith and Dickerson then. Beckham singled with 2 outs in the second. Left on, now a 1-out base hit by Smith. Two and 2, the count to Dickerson. Number to the left side. Pender goes to second, and they get the lead runner there. A fielder's choice ground ball for Dickerson puts him at first. Smith out. Pender to Lowry. So with 2 away and a runner on, Evan Longoria, who grounded into the double play in the first, here to face Hahn. Strike. Rays faced Hahn last year, his only career appearance in a start. Oakland won 3-2 last July in Oakland. Ball 1 strike. Wound up pitching 7 2/3, giving the Rays a run on 4 hits in that one. Foul in the direction of Charlie Montoyo.
You know what? We talked about how crisp the play was going to be today because of the long night. We usually see that from our guys. A little bit lazy off to the side, and it cost him. Oh, see, look at it. He's getting it from the bullpen.
Yeah, nothing to do but wear it right now.
Listen.
Right back to the hill. And Hahn with a toss to first. Longoria's out. So are the Rays. No runs. 1 hit. 2-0 Oakland. Against Jesse Hahn, and what is a 2-0 ball game right now.
Well, Chris Archer early on, he's got that slider working, freezing a guy here on a fastball, climbing the ladder there on Jed Lowry. Has thrown the ball well, but victimized by a big base hit by Stephen Vogt after an error allowed Alonso and Healy to move up a base, and that was after a 1-out walk. So there have been some mistakes sprinkled in. Oakland has been able to capitalize.
Chris Davis leads off the 4th. Davis called out on strikes on a slider. This one misses down and away. 2-0. Big cut and a miss as Archer came in with a 2-0 fastball there in the mid-90s. A little power against power, that big cut by Davis. Three and one. Take the count all the way out to 3-2. Davis originally selected by the Washington Nationals. There's Alonso on deck. Did not sign with them, and the Brewers picked him. Signed with them, and that was in 09. Made it to the big leagues in 2013. Last year, his first year in Oakland, and he skies it into shallow right center. Souza is there to make the catch, and that will be the first out here in the 4th. Be sure and get in on the action with exclusive on-field seating. That would be in the Papa John's bullpen box for groups of 50 to 85. A private party area just steps from the Rays bullpen. Reserve the Papa John's bullpen box by contacting Group Sales. Call 888-FAN-RAYS. You can also email Group Sales at raysbaseball.com. Limited dates remain. Here's Alonso. Pitch outside. Yonder Alonso started their 2-run second with a 1-out walk. One. Both RBIs belong to the former Ray, Stephen Vogt. Alonso takes the pitch high. It's 2-1. Vogt singled in those runs in the second inning, scoring Alonso and Healy. Now a 3-1 count on Alonso.
Now, these are the types of counts that make your job as a pitcher so much more difficult. You like to work from the inside out, you know, outer half, outer third, then off the plate, as opposed to being off the plate and then forcing yourself back over. That's a clear advantage to the hitter.
And ball 4. He walks him for the second straight time. 2 walks issued by Archer, and both have been drawn by Alonso.
Being careful. He's had a heck of a series, especially when you're talking about yesterday, both games. Problem is, the last time he walked him with 1 out, Healy was able to follow that up with a base hit where it turned into there was an error and everybody moved up, and then Stephen Vogt brought him in. That's where we stand right now.
Healy's had a good series. He takes a look at the fastball. Fastball right down the middle, up a bit. at 95, 96.
And Healy wishing he probably would have swung at that, because they're shooting for down and away. Watch how Healy stands at the plate, straight up and down, very tall, and you look at that outside corner at the knees, and it's very inviting, like that.
And there's a great pitch right there.
See, when you look at Healy's setup, what tells you that he can do anything with that pitch? Now, he's banking that you can't consistently put it there, and that's fine. Every hitter has a hole where he chooses to have it, or sometimes it's just a byproduct of the swing. And it looks like Ryan Healy's saying, if you can go with my knees down and away consistently, I'm all for it. I don't think you can do it.
And he is out on strikes, and that time he got him to chase.
Yep. That's what you can do. That's the difference between being in those 3-1 counts or 0-2. You work from on the plate to off the plate, and you get the hitter to expand. That's the ideal situation. And boy, did he expand there.
Strikeout number 6, 2 outs in the 4th inning. And it's Stephen Vogt. Strike at the knees to Vogt. Vogt, 32 years old. First got to the big leagues with the Rays in 2012. Tapper foul. It's 1-1. He's been with Oakland since 2013. Sends a fly ball into center field. Smith on the run, can't get there. That's going to bound to the wall. Alonso's going to score, and Vogt winds up at second. He's driven in all 3 runs for Oakland. It's 3-0. Seventh double of the year for Vogt.
Well, Dwayne, here's Malik Smith right there, kind of shadowing towards left center field, and Stephen Vogt had ball with an awful lot of air, but an awful lot of ground for Malik Smith to cover, and he just cannot get there. Go, 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 and ends up a foot or 2 short of that baseball. Leads to a run.
Well, here's Matt Joyce. Ground ball into the shift, short right. Robertson throws him out. So Steve Vogt drives in another run. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 3-0 Oakland. Fox Sports Sun brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By Jeep, get great deals at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. The Rays have some ground to make up. Down 3-0 coming in to hit in the bottom of the 4th inning in the wrap-up game of this series. Logan Morrison, who struck out his first time, and takes a strike this time to lead off the bottom of the 4th. One Rays facing Jesse Hahn and trying to get something going against him. They've left runners on in each of the first 3, stranding 3 men. Got a couple of hits and a couple of bases on balls. And now Morrison is behind in the count, 1-2.
Well, another 95-mile-an-hour fastball that Hahn has been able to overpower Morrison with. Those pitches out over the plate. We're used to seeing Logan Morrison hit those balls and hit those balls hard.
Well, right now he's 4 of his last 29. And of those 4 hits, 2 have been home runs and the other one a double.
And you're always going to have stretches like that during the course of the season. As a hitter, what you want to try and do is minimize them, make them as short as possible, and then get back into another hot streak. But he's going to be pitched differently. You think about the start that he has gotten off to. When you start looking at the home run numbers, are going to jump out at you. The runs batted in, they're going to jump out at you. He's going to be a focus of opposing pitching staffs, and they're going to start to really break down where they feel like they can get him out. So things are going to get a little bit more difficult, and then it'll be up to Logan to make the corresponding adjustment.
And he is called out on strikes there on the fastball.
When you see a guy take a fastball right down the middle, then you don't start to think about the swing, anything else. You start to think about what's going on upstairs, because that's a pitch that every hitter in the world is looking for. And so with 2 strikes, Logan Morrison obviously at that point, in the sequence, in the count, is looking for a different pitch. And maybe trying to guess along with Hahn, which is a tough thing to do.
Steven Souza Jr. is the hitter. 1 ball, no strikes. There's a mid-90s fastball. 1-1.
Just backwards.
It's 2-1. Hahn missed some time earlier this year with a tricep strain. End of the year last year, a little shoulder issue that cost him part of August and September. 3-1. And now the count is full. Going in with a fastball. Forces another 3-2 pitch. Rays have Colby Rasmus on deck. Rays put the first 2 men on in the first inning, but a double play ball put a damper on that threat. Ground ball outside of third, foul. Hahn got out of that with no issue. Since then, nobody in scoring position against Hahn. Headed for the shortstop. Pinder makes the throw, and Souza Jr. made it close.
Yes, he did. You know, Pinder stayed back on that ground ball to get the hop that he wanted. You know, you've got to be aggressive against this Rays lineup because these guys get up the line. They get up the line better than any team I've seen, collectively better than any team I've seen in the league. There's nothing that Pinder did wrong here. It's just that Souza Jr. is hustling like crazy to try to beat that out. Let's see if he did. Boy, that is so close.
And the Rays took a moment to think about whether they wanted to challenge it, decide not to.
And it was right to not to, but by a hair on just what was a routine ground ball to shortstop. So you know, these guys serve notice, and they put pressure on an opposing defense to make the play clean and to get rid of the throw in a timely manner, or they'll beat it out.
Rasmus takes a pitch down and in.
You just have to love that style of play.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you something. Over the course of a season, that will lead to defensive miscues. No question, because you know in the back of your mind that that little clock going off in your brain is moving faster than maybe it should.
Davis down on his knees to make that catch in center field just to make it interesting. 1, 2, 3. We go to the 5th. 3-0 Oakland. Greatest players battle to be crowned America's champion in golf's can't miss major of the year. The 117th U.S. Open begins June 15th on Fox, FS1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Ooh, little Dippin' Dots. Dippin' Dots are fun.
You know, they have a made right there.
Yep.
Yep.
Out of the helmet.
Rajat Davis leads off, shortens on the bat as if to bunt, and did not offer. Says Jeff Nelson down at first. That's a ball. Well, Davis made the catch on the shot to center by Kobe Rasmus, and now leads off here in the 5th. Ground ball headed toward the middle, and a nice backhand. Robertson gets his man. Nicely done right there.
made
That's
it look
a pretty play.
It is. It makes it look easy on the backhand, but then also the sense of urgency, realizing Davis with speed is running. Watch the effort that he puts into the throw. Okay, this is nice. Now get set, step, and heave that thing over there to make sure you get him.
So one away, nicely done, and now we go to the top of the order. Jacob Brugman, who twice has struck out against Archer. Archer has a half dozen strikeouts. We play one out in the fifth.
That shows you right there how that play by Daniel Robertson, not easy to make. That one was all thumbs. Boys have been a little sloppy today. Usually they are rock solid.
Well,
rock solid down both
all
lines.
those games within a span of 48 hours here.
Yep. This is a play usually made in the sleep, like bare hand. Just having a little trouble. And having to explain himself. The bullpen guys, they'll wear you out if it's not a clean play.
This one just out of the reach of Longoria. Quickly into foul territory. Rasmus, good throw, might get him. He is out at second base. Robertson took the throw from Rasmus and scrambled to get the tag on Brugman, and he is out at second base. Well, kudos there. Rasmus with his hustle to get over there and fire the throw, and a scramble by Robertson to take the throw and get the tag.
Look at the effort here by Colby Rasmus. Now turn and throw. Throw is just a little bit wide, but you can't expect it to be right on the bag. That was a great throw. And then look at Robertson. Get it and then dive for the leg across the bag. Oh, did he ever tag him? There he did. Oh, yeah, there he did.
Came off the bag.
Yeah, because right there. Oh, there he goes. Yep, got him right on the foot. And then get that head out of the way before those feet come up. Boy, that's dangerous right there. You're fortunate that both guys come out of that unscathed.
Penders lifts a pop foul down the right side. Long run and a great effort there by Morrison to get down there, but it's out of play.
You know, let's just feel fortunate that that ball wasn't a little further down in the bullpen. Sousa Jr. gets to that with a full head of steam. There's no telling where he ends up.
One strike to count. 2 outs, base is empty. He misses that fastball up, 0-2. Ball, 2 strikes. Rasmus on that play at second, picking up his 4th assist. He leads the Rays outfielders in assists now. And there is strike 3. Pinder caught looking again. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. And we go to the bottom of inning 5, 3-0 Oakland. cheap. 4.5. We go to the Rays half of inning 5. Rays down. Now a 3-0 ball game. And Tim Beckham leads off. Derek Norris will hit next, and then Daniel Robertson against Jesse Hahn. And the breaking ball is in there for a strike to start Beckham.
Slow curve, such a weapon when you can spin that in there for a called strike early in a count. Not many guys are looking to tee off on that pitch. Slip it in every now and then, and you get the jump.
And he's quickly ahead of Beckham. Curveball, fastball, 0-2.
I'll tell you, he right now is in complete control, working with a little bit of a pace, mixing in all of his pitches. And you're hoping for that one mistake to try to get him off his game just a little bit.
Little tapper foul. Curveball again.
That's been the pattern here. Soft, hard, soft. You expect something with some velocity here.
Oh, 2. Stairs. Ball, 2 strikes. One, 2, and he got him. And back with the breaking ball.
Yeah, soft, hard, soft, hard, soft. And you get the strikeout. That curveball playing a big role. We told you he loved that pitch, and you're going to see an awful lot of it. And he just went back and forth. You know, what pitch set up the other? I mean, that's what Jesse Hahn is doing here this afternoon.
Now Derek Norris. The fastball a little off the plate there. 1-0. One ball, 1 strike. Well, the Rays certainly impressed by the young left-hander in the nightcap of the doubleheader yesterday. John Manaea allowed the Rays only 2 runs in 7 innings. And Hahn has been impressive here. The Rays no runs, just 2 hits, a couple walks off the right-hander, but that's been it. Norris just outside third. The breaking ball. One and 2 the count. And Norris misses that breaking ball. Okay, the curveball very prominent here to the first 2 hitters in the 5th inning.
And look how he takes this one off the plate, Dwayne. So he's got Derek Norris in a little bit of swing mode. He's ahead of him in the count, so you could take that pitch and take it right off the plate. And Derek Norris obliges with the swing. Jesse Hahn, boy, he has been impressive thus far, not only with his pitches and the action on them, but the ability to put them where he wants them.
Robertson, strike 1 to him.
You can also tell how quickly he's working. This is a guy who's feeling it. You know, it's like that jump shooter that's just like, just keep feeding me the ball.
Liner into left field. That's going to be in there for a base hit. He's going to dig for 2 and will beat the throw in. A double for Robertson. So a 2-out, 2-base hit, and the Rays, for the first time since the first, have a man in scoring position.
Well, maybe this is the mistake that gets him on the board, gets something started. Mislocation there. A few inches, wanted that slider a little bit further out, doesn't do it. Daniel Robertson able to capitalize, and that's the key. You know, when you do get the occasional mistake from a guy who's locked in, it's one thing for him to make a mistake, it's another for you to be able to capitalize on it. Robertson did just that. The Rays have a chance here.
Well, Alex Smith has walked and singled. And he misses the curveball. Back to the curveball now. One to count. Now the fastball in there on the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a foul ball. He got just a little piece of the curveball to stay alive. 2-out double has put Daniel Robertson in scoring position at second. That ball headed to center field. That's going to be in there and knocked down and away from Davids. The run will score, and Smith winds up at second. Robertson scores. The Rays are on the board, and Alex Smith comes through. He winds up at second. It'll be a double for Smith and a run batted in.
Now the curveball has been so good, but one too many right there, and you're getting that pitch moving down and in to Alex Smith where he can handle it. You know, you want to backdoor that pitch and make him reach for it, go right ahead. And we've shown that Hahn has had the ability to spot that pitch, but he yanks that one down and in. And Alex Smith able to get to it. And how about the Rays with 2 outs? That'll liven up that dugout a little bit.
Yeah, to get Robertson and Smith to produce a run. Back-to-back doubles. And here is Corey Dickerson. Ball, no strikes. Two and 0. Vogt heads to the mound. The Rays right here with a 2-0 count have the potential tying run at the plate. They're just one swing of the bat away from pulling even. And they have a guy in Corey Dickerson who's shown he can do exactly that. And coming into this game, 3 of 7 with a home run against Hahn. Really the best history the Rays have in their lineup against this right-hander. He's right there in the batter's box now. Smith has doubled in the Rays' first run of the game. On ready, the 2-0. Smith goes to third, and the pitch is fouled back. Well, sure you can do that.
Yeah.
You head to third.
Yeah, you have to absolutely be positive, especially you're already in scoring position with speed, and the case that you made for Corey Dickerson at the plate. The risk reward you got to take into account. See how far too Healy is off of third base. Plays a role.
And a turn back at second with Pender taking the throw.
The one thing that Malix has done, though, is even being out at second base, you've got the pitcher now thinking about you.
Yep.
Try to just siphon a little bit of that concentration away from home plate.
Couple of strikeouts, now back-to-back doubles. It's a 2-1 count on Dickerson. It's fouled back, the fastball.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Corey Dickerson has had 2 big swings on pitches out over the plate that he's saying to himself, man, you see those pitches headed in those areas with the swing of Corey Dickerson, and you're expecting big things. Surprised if Jesse Hahn was anywhere near the strike zone with this next pitch, and if need be, the one following.
And there's a base hit fair just inside the line. Smith will score. Dickerson goes to second, and now it's 3-2. Corey Dickerson comes through with a double. 3 straight 2-base hits for the Rays, and they're right back in it.
Tell you what, for a guy who was absolutely cruising, he made a mistake to Daniel Robertson, did not like the pitch selection to Malix Smith, and then again, I wouldn't be anywhere near the zone. With Corey Dickerson in the box, this is near the zone. And he's able to keep that, so some mistakes in pitch selection, in what you're trying to do, because he's trying to throw that pitch right there on the corner. I'll tell you what, you got to give credit to the Rays, though, for taking full advantage, and you're right back in the game because of some mistakes that Hahn had not made the first 4 2/3. Right now, you're in a dogfight again.
20 doubles for Dickerson, 30 runs batted in. Robertson and Smith have scored. Dickerson, who carries with him the potential tying run in scoring position for Evan Longoria. Couple of ground balls from Longoria, 0 for 2. He pops it into short left center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. And here comes Dickerson in to score. The Rays have tied it with 2 outs, 4 straight hits. And that ball not hit particularly well, but perfectly placed.
I don't think nobody went after it. Nobody went after that ball. That's just a breaking ball that just gets hit right off the end of the bat, and I don't know if Rajai Davis out in center got fooled, but look at it, he's not galloping after that ball. Nobody was charging after that baseball. Well, who cares? It's a tie game now.
3 doubles and a single, and the Rays are even. It's a 3-3 ball game, and here is Logan Morrison. Ball, no strikes. Axford up in the bullpen now. Hot shot up the right side. Fair ball. Back into the corner. Longoria is going to hit third. They will stop him there on a double by Logan Morrison, and the hit parade continues for the Rays. Another 2-base hit in the inning. 5 straight hits. 4 of them have been doubles.
Well, the wheels have completely come off. I don't know, remember the last time I saw a guy, it's a changeup, middle of the plate. Logan Morrison is all over, who is in such control of a game and has, has ceded that control in a matter of 4 or 5 hitters. And it's been a combination of all of a sudden some pitches getting into bad areas, some poor pitch selections, some poor sequencing. Everything that he had avoided for 4 2/3 has come back to bite him here. He's on the verge of losing this lead.
This after 2 strikeouts to start the inning. Robertson double, Smith double, Dickerson double, base hit Longoria on a ball that fell in. And now Morrison has doubled. Here's Steven Souza Jr. And there's strike 1.
And you're scrambled to get everybody ready now. And even that's not going smoothly.
Bloom up the lefty along with Axford now. There's a one-hopper out to second. Lowry's throw to first gets Souza Jr. broke his bat. But the Rays, with 2 outs, have tied this game through 5 and 3. Ball game here with Oakland initially jumping out in front. Stephen Vogt with a base hit to center driving in 2. Then a double for Vogt in the 4th inning. Drove in the 3rd run, and with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th, Robertson's double started things. He scored on a double by Smith. Corey Dickerson doubled home a run. Evan Longoria's base hit fell in to tie the game. So the Rays are all back even now, 3-3. Then we go to the 6th with Jed Lowry leading off against Chris Archer. Fouls it back. Opening fastball, strike 1. 3-4-0 for Oakland, 3-7-1 for the Rays. One and one. Well, Archer had 84 pitches through 5. He faces Lowry, then Chris Davis, and Yonder Alonso in the 6th inning. 2-1. Well, what the Rays would love here would be a quick top half of the 6th, then get right back in to bat in the bottom of the inning.
Those 5 straight hits fresh in the mind of Jesse Hahn. You assume that he's going to head back out there. And I'll tell you what an uprising. 2 outs, nobody on, and 2 outs in dominant fashion by Hahn. And it got out of hand.
It's foul up the right side. It's 2-2. Yeah, the Rays turned that into a 27 pitch inning for Hahn after the first 2 men were readily retired. So after an inning like that, get him back out there quick. 2-2 here on Lowry. Little looper into right field. Here comes Souza, and he can't come up with it. He'll have to chase it. Lowry around second on his way to third. He takes a peek as he goes to third and stops there. That's going to be a triple for Jed Lowry to start the sixth.
Now that is a do or die play and attempt by Souza Jr. out there in right. This ball, Jed Lowry going to have some air underneath it. He's charging hard, and you know, you make the play, you're a hero, and you don't. Runner on third, nobody out. He's eyeballing it the whole way, and he misses it by an inch, maybe. Not by much.
Well, he went for broke, and so it's a triple for Lowry. Chris Davis, the infield, comes up. Davis lifts it foul out of play. Strike one.
Well, you've got a prime strikeout candidate here. You've got some work to do to get yourself in that position, but you've got a guy that has that potential, so you have to go to work in one pitch, one spot.
One and one. Archer got Davis looking for a strikeout in the second. And he lifted a fly ball to right in the fourth. High chop. That ball's going to be over the head of Beckham, who was drawn in at short. And as a result, the run will score, and Oakland retakes the lead. So Davis drives in Lowry. It's 4-3.
Well, that didn't take very long. Unfortunate here because that ball chucked hard off of that dirt right out in front of home plate, and it's going to get that big hump in it, and with everybody pulled in, there's just no play to be made.
So a quick answer by Oakland. One out, or one on, nobody out, and Yonder Alonso, who twice has walked and twice has scored, is the hitter. Strike one. And Hendricks up in the bullpen. Foul back, 0-2. Oakland with some power here from these young hitters in the middle of the lineup. Ryan Healy on deck. A 2-strike count to Alonso. And a cut and a miss. Big strikeout for Archer. He picks up a very big out there.
And he got away with one too. Boy, that is a hanger right in the middle of the plate. Yonder Alonso, as hot as he is, very fortunate right there. But you'll take it.
Ryan Healy. Healy has a base hit, 1 for 2. Strike. Two runs in the second, a run in the fourth. for Oakland. The Rays got 3 in the 5th. Oakland back with a go-ahead run in the 6th. Healy lifts it to the right side. That's going to be out of play. A nice catch down there. It's a 2-strike count now. Tapper right back foul.
Still trying to exploit that down and away hole, as they should. I think that's why you saw Chris Archer kick that dirt. He wants that pitch just a little bit further away, and I fully expect that's where you'll find this one. 0-2 in the count. That's exactly what they're going to do. Put this one down, Dwayne.
And a ground ball to the right side. Robertson falls down, picks up the ball, and makes the play at first. Boy, how many times have we seen that? Never.
No, he is charging that ball because he wants to get to it quickly to start the potential inning-ending double play. That's what's going on here, and he gets, see where he's at, shaded up the middle, ball off the end of the bat, and he comes in so quick that his, gets top heavy going over to field that baseball, and the momentum, watch the momentum start to go. Nothing you can do at that point.
So he recovers to get the out at first. Davis moves into second. And now Stephen Vogt, who has driven in 3 of the 4 runs. That's a strike. Vogt singled in 2 in the 2nd inning, doubled home a run in the 4th. Ground ball, Robertson. He's right there and makes the play to get Stephen Vogt to retire the side. 1 run scores, 4-3 Oakland. Baseball on Fox Sports South is brought to you by your Southern Chevy dealers. By Jeep. Get great deals at the Jeep Spring Clearance Event. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Well, The Rays are down by a run. Archer giving up 2 in the second, 1 in the 4th, and 1 in the 6th inning. Jesse Hahn, who gave up 3 with 2 outs in the 5th, departs this game. 93 pitches, 3 runs, 7 hits, couple of walks, and 5 strikeouts. And he gives way to Liam Hendriks.
Comes on for the 26th time. He's worked 26 and 2/3 innings, has some strikeouts, 34. Opponents average 217. The Rays were able to victimize him in game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday.
First man to face him is Colby Rasmus. The pitch is a strike around the knees. Hendricks took the loss in that 10-inning game, first game of the doubleheader yesterday. 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Rasmus fouls it back. Chop foul. Well, the Rays down by 1. Souvenir.
Well, they're going to have 4 cracks, at least 4 cracks, at an Oakland Athletic bullpen that ranked in the bottom 3rd of the league, 13th overall in earned run average in the American League at .499.
There's a ball down and in, 2-2.
So you got to feel like they're going to get their opportunities. Can you cash them in?
Rasmus 0 for 2 in his career against Hendricks. Now a shot back into straightaway center field. That ball is out of here. Home run for Rasmus to tie the game. Home run number 9 for Colby Rasmus. He powered that one high over the center field wall. It's a 4-4 ball game.
Well, that didn't take long on the other side. Just got done saying these guys, the ERA of this Oakland A bullpen around 5. You're going to get some shots. Liam Hendriks, Rays got him yesterday, and they get him again today. Thigh high, middle of the plate, and Colby Rasmus, you're trying to go in, not in. Full extension, dead center.
There's Tim Beckham. Ball, no strikes. Fastball by Beckham that time. 1-1. The Rays have now hit 99 home runs this year. Beckham is behind 1-2. Rasmus showing big time power right back down the middle to center field. Five of his now 9 home runs have come in the last 15 games. Last 11 starts. Chopped to third. Healy stays back. The throw is going to be wide, and Beckham is aboard. Healy backed up on the wall and then had a long, hurried throw to make.
And just taking too much time there. Right here, he makes the decision to retreat. And once you do that, boy, you really got to let it fly. Not nearly enough on that throw. And I think he was actually trying to bounce that thing on purpose, trying to skip it across the turf, but couldn't get enough on it.
Well, a base hit for Beckham. Derek Norris up here. Pitch foul right back into the screen. Norris hit a fly ball to left in the second. Struck out on a breaking ball in the fifth. Too low. 1-1. Two balls and a strike. Missing with a couple fastballs. Norris came into this game 4 of his last 40.
Time to bust out.
Runner goes. The pitch skied to right. Beckham's going to have to find it. Now he does, and heads back to first base on the fly ball to right field, caught by Joyce. So that's the first out in the bottom of the 6th. Now Daniel Robertson will bat. He doubled. It was his double with 2 outs in the 5th inning that started the 3-run inning when the Rays put 5 consecutive hits together and tied the game, only to see Oakland quickly score a run in the 6th, and the Rays back on the home run by Rasmus to tie it. Now 1 on 1 out. Robertson at the plate, and that pitch is a strike. Robertson playing against the team that originally drafted him. Down on the count 0-2. Oakland made him a first-round pick in the June 2012 draft.
And that always serves as a little motivating factor. No matter what you may say, you still want to show them that you were worth that first-round pick. It should have never been traded. I don't care who it was for.
Beckham at first with 1 out. Robertson behind in the count against Hendricks. 1-2. 1-2. He is out on strikes. Slider down and away. Second out of the inning, and the first strikeout for Hendricks.
There it is, the grip, the release. Starts it right at the bottom of the zone and takes it out. And Bob Melvin out there to take him out.
The top of the order due up. Pitching change coming. Here's what's coming up Tuesday on Rays Live. The Rays travel to Toronto. Pre-game show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Jake Odorizzi will start that one in search of his 5th win. We'll hear from him, and Aristis will break down the Blue Jays third baseman Josh Donaldson. Well, the left-hander Daniel Coulombe is in here now to face Malik Smith. Runner at first, Beckham. The pitch is a strike. Smith has walked, singled, and doubled in this game. One. Axford is busy in the bullpen. Saw Coulombe in the first game of the doubleheader yesterday for an inning and a third. Another good take right there on a pitch just off the plate. 2-1. Two. He's got the home run from Colby Rasmus to start the inning. Beckham followed with a base hit. He's still at first with 2 outs. move over there. He's back in. Beckham. Two. A late swing there on that one, and he fouls it the other way. That pitch coming in on him.
Yeah.
Protecting.
Off speed, and you're trying to, you know, as this ball's coming in, 2 strikes on you. It's curveball, back up. You start to buckle. You start to think, ooh, this is borderline. And then you pull the trigger on a swing. Fortunate for Alex Smith. He fouls it off. Ready to go here for another one.
Oh, and now Beckham is picked off. They'll run him back. And Colon, the pitcher, gets the tag. So the Rays lose the base runner. We get a home run from Kobe Rasmus to open it, to tie it. And we'll go to the 7th, 4-4.
We head to the top of the 7th. Rich Hollenberg back inside Tropicana Field. Time for our T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball break. And even though tomorrow's a day off for the team, it's a big one nonetheless. They're looking for their next superstar. Will they find it in the 2017 first-year player draft? It spans 3 days, 40 rounds total. The Rays have 3 picks tomorrow, including the number 4 overall pick. And guys, it's the first time they're picking in the top 10 since they drafted Tim Beckham first overall back in 2008.
It's always a fun time, the amateur draft, and as it spreads out over a period of a handful of days there, we'll keep our eyes on that for the infusion of new talent into the baseball world, and in particular the Rays organization. Matt Joyce leads off as Archer's out here to begin the 7th. 1-0 the count to Joyce, who took the first pitch, a slider out of the zone. Shift on for Joyce. It's a 1-1 count.
Cover that right side. Daniel Robertson, a little bit of room here for some extra range.
Upstairs, 2 balls and a strike. Rajay Davis due next, and then the top of the order.
And how about this? You know, Archer out here for the top of the 7th inning, already over 100 pitches again, but the bullpen quiet. This is his inning.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's a good pitch there on a 2-1 count. Really good slider, and presented it as a fastball out of the hand.
It's a 3-2 count now. We are going to start to get some action in the Rays bullpen. They were taxed yesterday with the early exit of Matt Andriese after an inning. And Chase Whitley, who pitched 2/3 of an inning in game 1, starts to loosen. High for ball 4 and off the mitt. The Rays catcher Norris.
Center fielder Rajay Davis.
So leadoff walk. Now Rajay Davis. 0 for 2. Robertson got him on a nice play, on a backhand play in the 5th. Runners going, and the pitch bunted, foul. So the Oakland A's trying to get Joyce into scoring position. Joyce on his way back to first, keeping a close eye on Chip Hale as he relayed the signs.
I've seen some exasperated looks on the face of Bob Melvin.
And they bunt on again, and they take it for a ball. 1-1.
The cat and mouse game. Bunt again. You don't send Joyce.
Oakland had a 3-0 lead. Rays tied it. Oakland took the lead, and the Rays tied it again. It's 4-4. Signs of bunting there, and the pitch is down as he checks. So it's 2-1. Leadoff walk here in the 7th, issued by Archer. Put Joyce at first, and now Davis 2 balls and a strike. And the bunt comes in on him, and he bunts it foul up the first base side. And it's going to be a 2-2 count.
Fastball just kind of running up and in. Sometimes those are the easiest ones to get down. It's almost like a reaction, but that ball moving at that velocity, he's not able to keep it fair. Been an interesting at bat. All the back and forth, and it's led us to a 2-2 count. Archer's got a chance to put him away here.
Long look by Rajay Davis down to Chip Hale. Two. A foul again. Davis fouling off the slider. Getting close to the high pitch count for Archer this year. Twice he has made as many as 114 pitches 2 starts ago in 7 innings against Texas. And his second start of the year, 7 2/3 against the Blue Jays, 114. Two, and a foul ball again. So that gets us up to 113. This next pitch will equal his season's high. Both of those games, by the way, turned out to be extra inning games, and games eventually won by the Rays. Two balls, 2 strikes. And a base hit punch through the left side between Beckham and Longoria. The first 2 men are on.
Boy, I'll tell you, that was an impressive at bat by Rajai Davis after he failed to get the bunt down twice, fouling off a couple of tough sliders, and on the third one able to drill that ball into left field. Not the prettiest of ABs, but a fight till the end.
And Kevin Cash comes out with men at first and second and nobody out here in the 7th. So Archer will depart. 2 hitters into the 7th. The 7th, Archer out of the game after walking the leadoff man, Matt Joyce, and giving up the base hit to Rajai Davis. That after the Rays had tied the game in the bottom of the 6th. So Oakland with a major 2-on, nobody out threat in the 7th inning. Fox Sports Supports proud to team up with Positive Coaching Alliance. Its mission to develop better athletes, better people by working to provide all youth and high school athletes a positive character building sports experience. Visit foxsportsupports.com to learn more. Chase Whitley, the new pitcher, and his first pitch is a strike call to Jacob Brugman. 19th appearance for Whitley, inheriting 2 runners here. Pitch is away, and it's 1-1. The ball, 2 strikes. Off speed, had him out front.
The changeup. That's a big pitch for Chase Whitley. He's got a very good one. You know, he's a tall guy working downhill with that good arm speed on the changeup. One of those types of changeups. There's some finish to it, but it just never gets there. That's what makes it so effective. And Brugman here now down 1-2.
Repair job there by Norris on that mask. You want to make sure that's in good shape.
Somewhat important.
And a line drive. Now Beckham, a race to the bag. Safe. Joyce got back in there. Beckham made the catch, and the mad dash to the bag at second. And Joyce got there just in front of Beckham. And Joyce a little woozy getting up.
This ball actually behind him too, so he does a great job of getting back there. A nice job by Beckham. Catch it first, and now Do you go for the player? Do you go for the bag? Just not able to get there quite in time. Good effort all around, and Matt Joyce still not right, and here comes some reinforcements.
So the Oakland training staff will take a look at Matt Joyce. Appears to be an issue with his neck. Bob Melvin, the manager, out there. Well, Whitley on the line drive has gotten the first out of the inning. Chad Pinder will be coming up here. Pinder twice has struck out. Lifts this one into left. Rasmus is there to make the catch. So 2 gone. So far so good. Joyce still at second. Davis at first. Jed Lowry stepping into the batter's box. Lowry tripled on the diving attempt by Souza in the 6th inning, trying to keep the leadoff man from getting on base, and as a result the ball skipped by him. And Lowry went to third with his first triple of the year and eventually scored the 4th run. Fly ball into center field. Alex Smith is there, and a nice job. Rays get out of that spot. Whitley retires the top 3 hitters. 4-4 tie. Seventh inning stretch time at the Rays and the A's tied 4-4. Rays will be headed to Toronto. Pick up play Tuesday night. Starting a 2-game set against the Blue Jays, and Jake Odorizzi will be on the hill for the Rays. Our coverage begins at 6:30 right here. The first game of that series. Rizzi against Marco Estrada. The Rays will face Francisco Liriano Wednesday night up there with Alex Cobb taking his turn in the rotation. Rays will be heading into Detroit on that road trip as well before they return home. Rays will be coming home to meet the Cincinnati Reds and the Baltimore Orioles on the next homestand. That all begins on Monday, the 19th. Malik Smith will open the bottom of the 7th inning for the Rays, top of the order. Daniel Colon, the lefty, who caught Beckham off first base to end the 6th, opens the 7th, and Smith tries to bunt and got the bat back. 1-0 the count.
There it is, trying to make something happen. This ball coming just in time.
Healy in at third. Pitch moves him back a bit. 2-0. Dickerson will be next, and then Longoria.
Figured Coulomb for the first 2 hitters. You start thinking about Axford, who's down in the bullpen warming up once again for Longoria.
That's on the corner.
Yeah, I tell you, that's that pitch where the catcher reaches for it, but it happens to be right under the nose of Corey Blazer. It gets the call anyway.
2-1. Now the bunt. Who's going to cover first? They throw it away. Smith will get a chance to run around second and on his way to third. He's at third and going to stop there. The throw finally comes back into third base. Charlie Montoya eyeing that as to what was going to develop with an eye toward maybe sending him all the way, but he stops at third.
Yeah, and I mean, no reason to risk anything. Keep him there at third base. Smart move. What was not a smart move was this right here. Here's a bunt, and it's right back to the pitcher. Turn, throw to first. There's nobody there. Yonder Alonso had started to come in after that ball and got caught way out of position. That's a bunt where Alonso is charging in to make a play. It was bunted right back to the pitcher, basically. It wasn't even in between. And so Coulomb turns to throw and expects Yonder Alonso to be there. He is not. And that sends Malik Smith off to the races.
Charlie Montoya in the final analysis did everything except just grab him and keep him there.
I thought he was going to push him back to third base. Easy.
Infield up now. Dickerson sends a fly ball into right. Joyce will go back to make the catch. The tag, and Smith will come home with the go-ahead run. And the Rays take a 5-4 lead. Dickerson driving in his second run of the day. So on the bunt single and the error charge to the pitcher and a sacrifice fly, the Rays grab the lead. Well, taking advantage of an opportunity. Bob Melvin comes out to change pitchers with Evan Longoria due up. We'll be back in a moment.
A bigger story. And that right here in Yankee Stadium, Aaron Judge, guess what? Number 20. An absolute bomb. I mean, that's a bomb.
Anything involving Aaron Judge is a bigger story.
Yeah. Well, Starlin Castro says, you know what? I'm going to follow it up with one of my own. And at this point, now 10-3.
John Axford, the new pitcher. Evan Longoria fouls that fastball out of play to the opposite side. Rays have taken the lead as Axford comes on for the 10th time. Fourth pitcher of the day here for Oakland. One and one to count. Two and one. Jumbo Diaz, who was just activated, is up in the bullpen. Ground ball to third. Healy makes that play. Two gone. So the bases are empty, and Logan Morrison will be the hitter. Rays with 10 hits. Morrison has one of them. That was a double in the 5th. And the Rays put a string of 5 hits together. 4 doubles in that stretch. First pitch is a strike. Oh, 2. Hahn worked 5. The Rays got 3 off him. Hendricks 2/3. You got a run off him. Colomb 2/3, and they got a run off him. Now Morrison down 2 strikes to Axford. One ball, 2 strikes. Axford pitched 2/3 of an inning in game 1 yesterday. Walked a man and picked up a strikeout. Two and 2. Steven Souza Jr. would be next if Morrison keeps the inning going. Ground ball right side. And Morrison out at first. So the Rays grab the lead, score a run here in the 7th. It's 5-4. Been a busy day from Alex Smith. Been on base 4 times with a couple runs scored and a run batted in. Fans receive a Kevin Kiermaier Star Wars bobblehead presented by Tech Data and get to meet some of their favorite Star Wars characters. That'll be Saturday, June 24th, when the Rays face the Orioles. Visit RaysBaseball.com. Rays up. 6 innings plus for Archer, 1 inning for Chase Whitley, who got out of a spot. And now Jumbo Diaz will be the new pitcher, making his 22nd appearance.
Well, fresh off the disabled list for a well-worked bullpen. Jumbo Diaz comes on in here in the 8th inning, looking to preserve this Rays lead. Finally have one. Now you've got to hold it, Dwayne. Can take the lead, but can you hold the lead?
Well, the middle part of this Oakland lineup will be facing Diaz. And as we know, there's some pop in this lineup. The 8th starts with Chris Davis up there, followed by Yonder Alonso and Ryan Healy. And the pitch is rolled to the right side, open with the shift on. And 1 pitch, Davis has a leadoff single.
You know, you're expecting power from Chris Davis. That was a calculated swing right there. He knows where the defense is playing him. He's taking a look at that before he even steps in the box. And you had Daniel Robertson way up the middle. And there's a breaking ball. He just lets it come into the zone and just slaps it. You see Daniel Robertson right there, just slaps it to the open side. Nobody there to make the play.
Here's Alonso. And a fastball at 98 by him. Strike 1. Alonso has scored 2 of the runs after being walked. Foul back, 0-2. 6 innings plus for Archer. He gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, struck out 8 and walked 3. Whitley gets credit for 1 inning. Came in with 2 men on and left him that way, and now it's Jumbo Diaz on the mound. One ball, 2 strikes. Ryan Healy waiting. Foul back. Still a ball, 2 strikes on Alonso, who came into the game hitting .314 with pop. Guide to the left side. Rasmus waits for it. It's out number 1. Back to first, Chris Davis. Ryan Healy singled and scored in the 2nd inning, giving him a 1-for-3 day. Since then, he has struck out and grounded out to second. He had 2 hits in game 2 yesterday. One of those a home run. He takes a strike. 2 hits, including a double in the first game of the doubleheader. A strike to count on him here in the 8th.
And put in a very good spot too by Diaz, down and away once again with the slider. They know right where to execute against Healy, but that's the key. You've got to execute it. You've got to put it there, stay away from mistakes.
This one lined, it's going to be foul beyond the bullpen, skipping into the stands.
That was a big enough of a mistake to get a strikeout, because Healy, that ball left in, and that's where he's able to hurt you. You look at all the damage that he's done in this series. It's been balls, mistakes in, but that's so far in that he's just out in front of him. You get a strikeout of him.
Two. Pop to the right side. Got a chance to stay playable. Morrison down near the bullpen. Not going to be easy. And he makes the catch. Fine play by Morrison. Headed toward the bullpen and facing it to pick up that foul pop and make the grab and hang on. Very good play there, and a big out for the Rays.
Now, he's shown the ability to make this play if he can get there. That's an odd and tough angle to make a catch on a pop-up. But we've seen him do it a number of times, and you almost wonder, you can see right there how he just follows it right in. You can't lose sight of that baseball. It's got some awkward spin to it. Makes it look pretty easy.
Very big out, 2 gone. Stephen Vogt, the catcher, now becomes the hitter. He's driven in 3 runs today, was 2 for 3 against Chris Archer. Slider is a called strike on the corner. Alex Colomé up in the bullpen. He is just starting to throw down there. 1-1. Ryan Madsen busy in the bullpen for Oakland. One and two. Fastball from the big right-hander, coming in at 98 miles per hour. Vogt getting time granted by Corey Blazer, the plate umpire. Runner goes, the pitch is down, and Davis picks up a steal.
Off and running Chris Davis, and the Rays showed no real concern there. He is the tying run, and he is in scoring position right now. How to get Vogt.
Diaz 2-2 with him. And he got it. Struck him out on the fastball. Well, after the leadoff base hit. 1, 2, 3, including the strikeout of Vogt. 5-4 Rays. Sun, brought to you by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. And by Jeep. Get great deals at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. At Tropicana Field, bottom of the 8th, we'll find Steven Souza Jr. to lead off against the right-hander John Axford. Kobe Rasmus will be next, and then Tim Beckham. First pitch is a strike. Axford got credit for 2/3 of an inning in the 7th, a couple of ground ball outs.
This is where you'd like to see the Rays get greedy. Been fighting back and clawing back all afternoon long, have finally taken the lead, and now, you know, push that thing out there. A little bit of breathing room would be nice.
2 strikes the count to Souza. Breaking pitch wide. 1-2. Madsen continues to throw in the Oakland bullpen. Fastball wide, 2-2. Alex Colomé busy in the Rays bullpen as well. A 2-2 count to Souza Jr. And a cut and a miss. Fastball at 97. So Axford strikes out Souza.
He kept a little bit in reserve. And right here he cranks it up. 2-2. 97 well located.
Well, Kobe Rasmus got the Rays an important run in the 6th inning. And a home run off the batter's eye in dead center field. His 9th home run of the year. Takes a cut and fouls this one back on the fastball. Take a look at that home run.
Fastball right almost to the belly, and that was off Liam Hendricks, the first hitter that he would face after relieving Jesse Hahn.
One ball, one strike.
That was an interesting take there by Colby Rasmus. Never came out of his stance.
One and one. Now 1-2.
Did there. This was the previous pitch. Breaking ball. Colby set up for it. Still set up for it. All right. No stride, no nothing.
Fastball's up and away. Tim Beckham with a couple hits today. Now full count on Rasmus. Into center field. Base hit. Rasmus, a 1-out single. Davis returns it to the infield. Rasmus 2 for 4.
but just keep working the count, and then get a pitch up and out over. Stay in the middle of the field. Look at that action on that pitch, but it was up. And so while it had some run to it, didn't have sink. And the bat and the barrel still able to catch it and fish it into center field.
There's Tim Beckham. And a fastball called a strike out there near the corner. Beckham caught off first after the base hit in the 6th inning. Technically a caught stealing. Rasmus back in. Hard throwing right-hander out there, the 4th Oakland pitcher of the game. Rasmus back in, no tag. Runner goes, a pitch is foul. Time Rasmus was on the move. Count advances to 0-2.
They got to pick the right pitch to go on. He throws over 2 in a row. What are the chances he's going to do it again? Rays always a little bit more aggressive on the base paths with the lead. And they're thinking the same thing we are up here. Let's add another run or two and push this lead out a little bit.
And Beckham is out on strikes. Could not stop to chase that slider.
Yeah, on the side, and right there, probably rethinking that decision, but it's a little bit too late. That ball well off the plate.
Two outs. Rasmus at first. Derek Norris will bat. Norris 0 for 3, including a strikeout today. Eye on Rasmus over there. Tapper foul, strike one. One. Rasmus back in.
That Colby Henderson over there at first base, apparently. Keep your eye on him. know what? The more that you can get the pitcher to think about you over there, the more apt he is to make a mistake at home plate.
Ground ball picked up by Pender. The throw to first. One hops in, and Alonso comes up with that. Now Norris is out, so are the Rays, and we go to the ninth with the Rays leading 5-4.
Back inside Tropicana Field, Rays with a 1-run lead over the A's as we enter the ninth. Coming up immediately following the game, myself and Orestes Estrada will have Rays Live postgame brought to you by WB Mason. If all goes according to plan, I'll be speaking with one of the Rays stars on the field. We'll also hear from Kevin Cash, and we'll get you ready for the Rays road trip, which starts in Toronto. It's all coming up on Rays Live, the postgame by WB Mason. Boys, back to you in the booth.
Thank you very much. Here we go to the ninth inning. Alex Colomé out of the Rays bullpen. His mission to close this one out, making his 29th appearance. So Diaz worked an inning, struck out one, didn't walk anybody, gave up a hit, and Matt Joyce will open the ninth against Colomé. Rajai Davis will be next, and then Jacob Brookman. First pitch hit on the ground into short right. Robertson right there for him, and Joyce is retired. The Rays shifting for Joyce. One away.
Well, here's the showstopper, Dwayne, and that is Aaron Judge, once again, not content to go out to left center field at 495 feet, by the way. He shoots one into right center. The Yankees again, 16-3 yesterday, 14-3 today.
So one away, Matt Joyce retired. And Matt Olson will pinch hit for Rajai Davis. The pitch is upstairs. Pitch is down, 2-0 to Olson. Olson started the second game of the doubleheader yesterday and went 0 for 5. Callaway's gone 3-0 with him. Colomé worked an inning, gave up a run on 2 hits in game 1 of yesterday's doubleheader. Eventually won by the Rays in 10 innings, 6-5. There's a strike, 3-1. Rays 4-2 on this homestand, closing it out here today. The chopper foul up the first base side, grabbed by the Rays first baseman Logan Morrison. On deck. Hot shot, foul up the right side.
When you think about Olson going right up the line, but Logan Morrison, because of this shift, one of the nice byproducts of it is it allows you to play your first baseman and hug that line, so you take away anything there. See how close Logan is. Move everybody over, move everybody into the position where they've got that right side pretty much covered on anything that they can reach.
3-2 again, and a piece of that one foul. Just a little bit of that one. So Olson is still alive.
Ooh, just out of the, ooh, caught one there yesterday, wedged itself in there. This one able to pop out, keeps Olson's AB alive, but everything right now away by Colomé. Trying to force Olson to the big part of the field.
Because Olson has power. He had 15 home runs in 50 games at AAA. And draws the walk. So Colomé gives up a walk to the pinch hitter Olson.
Number 38, Jacob Brugman.
Jacob Brugman, who's made his major league debut in this series, will be the hitter.
Your attention, please.
Oakland will call upon a pinch runner.
Pinch running for Olson.
Rosales will run. Adam Rosales runs for Matt Olson. Brugman 1 for 4. Bullpen ball loose from the Oakland bullpen. Pitch is wide. Opening fastball for ball 1. And now ball 2. 2-0. Falling behind after walking Olson. Rosales running at first. Brugman representing the top of the order for the Athletics. Chad Pinder, the shortstop, is on deck. Foul ball back. Fastball in on him. 2-1.
Able to tie him up just a little bit there and negate the barrel of that baseball. Look at, they wanted this pitch away. Just ends up being yanked a little bit. Effective. Brugman doesn't know where you're going with that pitch.
That's a strike out there on the corner. So it's 2-2.
Nice adjustment made by Colomé. After that last fastball miss, even though he got a strike out of it, he dots that one up. Great spot.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a foul ball rolling in behind the plate. And plate umpire Corey Blazier.
Pachulia
becoming more and more frequent. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Foul out of play. Joyce grounded out, a walk to Olsen. Rosales running for him. Now 2-2 the count. And headed up the middle, a base hit into center. Rosales will go to second. 2 men on with 1 out.
And guess what? If Adam Rosales gets a better jump, he's on third base. But watch how he freezes this line drive. Not sure. I don't know what he was looking at right there, because there was no way that Daniel Robertson's going to be able to make a catch on that. You're thinking about freezing on a line drive, but that ball well short and well wide of Robertson. But that freeze keeps him from getting to third base. And now you got the force at all bags. You don't have a runner at third with less than 2 at this point. Big break.
Chad Pinder becomes the hitter. That's a strike. Walking a single in the inning. Oakland with a 9th inning threat.
Don't play. Let's go. Don't play.
And a swing and a miss on that one. Disappeared on Pinder. Colomé got the leadoff man in the inning, Joyce. He's given up a walk and a single. Ahead of Pinder, 2 strikes. Ed Lowry would be next. Lowry led off the 6th with a triple. Now the 0-2. Into the dirt, blocked by Norris. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Take a look at that block.
This ball headed to the dirt right out of the hand. That ball jumps up quick, but Norris has it well covered. Keeps it right in the middle of his body and right in front. I'll tell you, these catchers now with the stuff and the stuff in the dirt, they work so hard back there all game long.
1-2. And a base hit into left. Rosales hesitated on that one, and he'll stop at third. The bases are loaded.
I'll tell you, you're absolutely right about that. A mistake made up in the zone. Rosales once again. Watch him coming off. line drive. This one you understand a little bit more. The ball stayed in the air longer, but you've got to know where those infielders are, and that was nowhere near.
A walk and 2 singles with 1 out. The bases are loaded here in the 9th inning. Jed Lowry becomes the hitter.
Ray's middle infielder is playing for the double play. Everybody force out at every base.
And the pitch is too high. A ball and no strikes.
I guess you didn't need the pinch runner.
Rosales down at third. A's have him loaded. Upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. Lowry, really not necessarily a ground ball guy. He hits the ball in the air a lot. He did line into a double play earlier in this series. 2-0 the count on him. There's a pitch that's a strike, fastball. 2-1. Colomé finds himself in a spot. Threw it up in the bullpen. Strike 2, and Lowry's not happy. That one right at the bottom of the zone. A 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Oh, what a big pitch. What a big pitch. And now you put Lowry on edge, on the verge. Pop up, ground ball, strikeout.
The 2-2. Pops it up, foul ball. Longoria's after it with room, and he makes the catch. So they get the pop foul. 2 gone. Lowry takes what's left of the bat back with him.
It didn't start out well against Lowry. Bases loaded, got to miss up. Ball 1. All right, now you're 2-0. 95 here on the corner. Oh, half swing. This is the big one to get you back to 2-2. Lowry not real happy, and there's the pop-up.
Now Chris Davis, who's 2 for 4, the big power man in their lineup with the bases loaded, 2 gone. And there's a strike to start him. A 5-4 ball game in the 9th. Rays trying to take 3 out of 4. Big threat by Oakland. The 0-1. Strike 2. Fired it in at 95. Got the big cut, the big miss. Colomé way up in the count. 0-2. He got it. It's all over. Strikes him out. Oakland leaves the bases loaded. And the Rays win this one 5-4. They take 3 of 4 from Oakland, win the series, and that's been a trend for the Rays recently. They're 7-1-1 in their last 9 series, winning 7, losing 1, and splitting 1. And here's the final pitch.
Boy, that movement late takes it right under the bat. Colomé got himself into a jam, but he got the pop-up, he got the strikeout. It's a couple of dangerous hitters, and the Rays, more importantly, get the victory.
Whitley gets the win. He's 2-1. Colomé his AT save. Colon, the losing pitcher, before 13,640. Took 3 hours and 26 minutes to play this game, and the Rays come away winners. For Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast. Rays Live, the postgame, presented by W.B. Mason, is next.